Jeppe. If you can't remember anything else about what I say, just remember my name, because I have to repeat it so many times. Exactly, Jeppe. So Northzone, we have Scandinavian roots. We're one of the teams that's been around for probably the longest. We came around onto the stage in '96 and have invested in some 80 plus companies. At this stage, I think more than 50 have been exited, and we're currently building up a new portfolio of our last fund that we raised last year. In total, we've invested something like 450 million euros, but that's divided into 6 funds, and we do everything from early stage to late stage. Currently, we're probably most known for being the first guys into Spotify, and in terms of how we work, we were the first guys institutional guys, I should say, that came in, and for a relatively small check. But what's important, I think, for entrepreneurs as they go on to this big ambition and claim is that they can have an investor that follows with them. And even today, and I'm sure some of you may have read about all the monies that a company like Spotify has raised, we still remain the largest investor and the only guys on the board from the VC scene because we follow it all the way. And that's very much in our ethos that we actually make sure that we can go in early, do what we believe in, and follow it. Doesn't mean that that's always what we do. We also step in later stage. Another one we did was called EpiServer, where we did it much later. Here were founders that actually built it to profitability. But it was a husband and a wife that ran it. And in terms of taking it onto the international stage and fighting, they recognized that they may need something more. It wasn't capital in that stage, although they felt they could de-risk themselves by taking a little bit of money off the table. So we went in and structured a deal around that. But the key part of the job was really all about saying, what do we need to do to internationalize this company? How do we land first in this and that country? Who do we bring in as the right managers here and there? And that is probably more than anything else what we specialize in particular, given I think when you're from Scandinavia, there is no domestic market. Everybody knows that you have to internationalize very early, and that's probably part of the reason why you see so many companies coming from up there, coming out in the big stage quickly, whereas in the UK, Germany, France, it's more tempting to stay in the home market. In terms of style, tech is all we do, tech and internet, and all of us come either from the founding side of a company or in other ways been involved in tech. I'm the youngest partner, and I've been doing this for 13 years. So you pick up an awful lot, and you end up specializing in certain themes that you believe in and you can help entrepreneurs with. In terms of secondly, on style, I guess partnership is something we take very serious, both how we deal with each other, but also how we deal with our companies. I think it's very easy to get into the sort of big brother relationship where you are the one because you sit with a checkbook telling entrepreneurs what to do. We don't believe in that, and we don't believe in very complex structures, etc. We do believe and take it very serious that it's a partnership, and you run it accordingly, and you're very open and transparent with each other. And thirdly, I think in something I've certainly noticed, and I've joined Northzone recently, is it's all about winning. Everybody loves winning. And so therefore, it's all about meeting companies that feel they're on a mission, and whatever it is that they find, they want to win. It doesn't mean you have to win globally. It means you just, whatever it is, win. And we take that very serious, and that's something that gets us up in the morning. Now to the demystifying of VCs, given I noticed most of you are about to raise money, let me give you a couple of comments that I've noticed over the years of topics you're about to encounter or have encountered. I think one is how much to raise. Everybody will say, take more than you think, and I think that's true, but I don't think it's true that you should always go for the biggest amount. I see so many businesses where, you know what, they shouldn't have taken so much money. They would have made very good return for everybody around the table, and stakeholders and founders and angels, etc., without having to raise so much. And they could have built a perfectly good business without having to be thinking they can do the global thing and raise 20 million. And I think you need to think carefully about what it is your business is. I also see advisors pushing people up, or they're saying if you don't raise a certain amount, VCs won't be interested, and you have big round numbers. So I think carefully about the amount. I think secondly, there are many reasons why companies fail, but the one thing I consistently see as the biggest source of conflict is always misalignment of interest among stakeholders. And it's one of those things that people for some reason never think about. But if you sit around the table and your stakeholders in a company, you aren't just all there for taking the same risk-reward profile. You have different reasons why you want one thing and not the other. So make sure when you sit around that you think that one through. And when it comes to VCs, remember, we have investors too. We raise money. We have 5 years typically to invest it, and then we have another 5 years to get out of the business and sell them. So if you take money from a VC that's raised money 4 years ago and you end their final year of investment, they don't have the same patience as somebody who's just raised a new fund. It's not up to them. That's just the way it is. Same thing, if you raise $1 million from somebody who has a 500 million fund, even if you do a great job and you deliver a 10x, guess what? You don't make an impact in the fund. So they will much rather push you towards saying, go and play for the bigger thing. Go and play for the 10 million and try to make 100 million return, because that makes a difference to them. So think about how you matter to them. We are not free agents. It's not our money. We take other people's money like you are considering. And in that sense, it really makes sense to think that one through. And thirdly, for me, and the final one, and I really care about this one, is momentum. I see so many, fundraising is a pain. It's a necessary pain, it's part of it, but you're small companies, you go out spending months on fundraising. You're probably also the most important person for that business, probably most important out on the sales. So A, you take that momentum away from the front line. B, you then take the money in. Now you've got to deal with all the hiring, the additional structure, learning the new environment, plans, etc. Before you think about it, you've lost maybe 6 months of real momentum. And there's no problem you can't solve if you have momentum. But if you don't have the momentum, even small problems suddenly become big and everything gets cramped, you get defensive. So whatever you do, never ever lose momentum. That's probably the most important lesson, an expensive lesson, I'm afraid, that I had to learn in dealing with companies. Thank you.